Hello and welcome to the Blender Barbox channel. Today we are going to model a mobile phone that you see on the screen, and we will also apply some textures and materials to it in another edition. So we'll be doing this in 2 or 3 parts. So the first part will be to model the 3D model of the mobile, and then in another part we'll try to add some textures. Also, we'll see how we can add an image or video to your screensaver for better animations. So I hope you like the tutorial. So in the last part also we'll look into some animations for some product design or for some presentations. So let's get started. So to begin, we can use the default cube, no problem. Let me activate the shortcut keys. Alright, so now select the cube and go to tab. Now we can scale this along the Z. So I don't need the thickness, so I'll press 0 and then enter. Press M for merging by distance. Now 4 vertices have been removed. Now this is a clean geometry. Then we can scale this along the x-axis so that it becomes a rectangular shape, just like the mobile phones. So this is fine. Now we can edit the edges to give some kind of curve, like the modern day mobile phones. So let's go to the modifier tab, and then we can apply bevel. So make sure we are working on the vertices. Here you see a bevel has been applied. Since it's a straight line, we need to change this into a curve for a nice appearance. So let me see what I can do. Now go to segments here and increase the number of segments. Now you see that this part is appearing a curve shape. So the more segments you add, the smoother the curve will be. So I'll just use about 10 segments, and that looks good. Alright, now we can apply another modifier, solidify modifier, and let's add the thickness. Okay, alright, it's already looking like some kind of mobile phone. Yeah. Okay, so another thing we can do is we can still apply another modifier, bevel. Let me go down here and adjust this value. We can decrease the bevel amount to have better looking appearance. You can see the bevel here. Okay, now it's looking good. It's a good appearance, but Still there is a lot of work to be done. For instance, you can see here we have some kind of rough edges. So to smooth these edges, we can increase the segments down here. So I leave it at 5. So it actually improved the bevel edges here. We'll address this one later on. Okay, so far so good. We can still improve this. This looks to be a little bit thicker for a mobile phone, so I'll make this value a little bit less. Go to solidify. You can change the thickness. I think this looks better than the previous one. What else can we do? Maybe we can increase the initial bevel amount. Okay, not this one actually. Let me go down to the second bevel and then let's increase this value. Just a little bit. Okay. Let us see from different sides. All right. Yeah. Okay. This looks good. We can smooth shade this one to smooth the rough edges. Shade smooth. Always make sure to go to the object data properties, the normals, and tick the auto smooth. This will make sure the geometry is clean. Okay. So we are done with the initial phase. Now we have the basic shape of the phone. The next thing to do will be to add some grooves, like for the mobile charger or for a headphone jack, things like that. Now let's proceed. So you can select the object, Shift D to duplicate, and then G to grab and move it upward. We don't need the second bevel, so we can remove it. Okay. We can shade flat if necessary. Now go to Edit tab, and now I can scale this down. Let's move it this way. Let's bring it down. All right, so we are going to model the charging, where the charging plug goes in. Okay, let's scale this down along the Z. I'm going to place it somewhere in the center. let's make it thinner. Maybe I will scale it along the Y, this direction. Okay, this looks reasonable. Alright, let's see it's in extreme mode. Okay, that's maybe maybe it's good. Okay, now we can later on I will do a boolean operation on this to have the inside parts, to model the inside parts. Now let's carry on. Shift D again, G to grab, and let's move it here. Let's rotate it. Maybe I will scale this up along the X to have a variety of buttons. Okay. Maybe I'll move this in a little bit further. Okay. I will duplicate this one. And let's move it next. Okay. So this will be like volume minus plus buttons. Okay. Let's duplicate this one again. And sorry. Let's move it. We can move it a little bit inside. Okay, that's fine. Let's duplicate this one also. And let's move it somewhere here. Now I want to make the headphone plugin something like that. Let's scale this down along the Y. Okay. So I'm going for a circle look. Okay, that's fine. Let's duplicate this one. And we can move it here, somewhere here. Okay. Alright, that looks fine. Maybe on the top also, we may need some kind of headphone jack. So let's duplicate this. I'll move this further. Okay. All right. It looks like all the buttons, the headphone jacks or the charging ports, they are in place. Now this looks ready for the next part. Before we proceed, let's select everything and Shift D to duplicate this, and then M to create a new collection. You can name it whatever you want. I'll name it archive. Okay. So I'm just duplicating this in case I need to go back and make some changes. For now, I will disable this one and we'll be working with this information, because when you apply the modifiers, things may get disrupted, so you need a backup plan for that. Alright, now I can apply the modifiers. Apply each modifier. Alright. So this is clean geometry, and for these parts I will shade flat. I want to keep the edge parts as they are, and let's apply the modifier for these objects also. Okay, for these parts also we need to check their geometry. Press M for merging by distance, and 28 vertices have been removed. Now their respective geometry is workable, it's clean. Alright, now the stage is ready for the Boolean operation. So go to the modifier tab and go to Boolean. Now select the object, which is these parts. Now if you look closely, you can see the Boolean operation has been performed. Here you see some kind of weird edge. The Boolean operation is sometimes disruptive. Mostly it works fine, but sometimes it gets disruptive. Here you see also some weird geometry. So to address this, such kind of change, before you apply the modifier, let's go to select these objects and go to object properties, and then go to the viewport display, and in the display as, select bounds. Here you can adjust some parameters. If I, for instance, move this up and down, see the difference. Okay. Looks like the previous geometry has become smooth. Let's check the other side. The other side is also looking nice. So this way you can see what changes you can make. All right, so we can work with this one. Okay, so let's go back to the modifier and apply it. Select this one and you can delete now this. All right, so now we have our grooves and different parts. Here you see the ports. Here also, and these parts. Okay, so the next part will be to model the buttons. They have to come out in this direction, something somewhere here, as they are in most phones. So let's select this and go to Edit tab. Okay, let's select the faces. Shifts. Okay. Before I extrude them, press I and then Inset. Okay. Now let's extrude along the Y. Okay. This seems to be enough. Now we can bevel this. Control B. You can add subdivisions to make it smooth. Right, it looks good. Okay. Okay. If you look closely, this looks a little bit rough, so we can shade smooth this one. It's smooth now, but the whole geometry is disrupted. So to remedy that, you can go again to Object Data Properties and check Auto Smooth, and that will solve the problem. Okay. Now, yeah, these are smooth and they are looking good. Okay, so the same way we can do the other side. I to insert and then just to make it different. I will select this part only. And I can grab this and move it a little bit. I just want to make something that can be shut and open, sliding thing. Okay, select the face. Now we can extrude. Okay, maybe that's too much. This is fine. Okay, now we can bevel this. Maybe just a little bit. Okay. So just a variation. I'm thinking that something that can be turned, like a sliding thing that can turn on or off something, some kind of button. Okay, so we are done with this one. Maybe we can change something here. I'll extrude this. Some kind of design like you see in most mobile phones. Okay, so looks like we are done with the side parts and some kind of buttons and holes and some things that you see on most mobile phones. All right, so that's okay now. Next thing we can do, okay, before I move on, let me select this. Let's make the area of the screen distinct. I want to make this unique. I want to make a groove, something around where the screen starts. So press I again for insert and then just move it a little bit, not too much. Okay. Maybe I made it too much. Let me do it again. Okay, I and then this is too big. I'm trying to get some kind of compromise. Okay, let me try. Maybe this is good. Okay, I'll leave it at this one. Now I want to select the faces around the entire screen. Then extrude. Just a little bit down. Okay. Now you see we have a distinct shape of the screen. Okay. So everything is in place. The next thing to do is to model the camera at the back. So we are done with these parts. Now let's move on to modeling the camera. So to make the camera, let's go to the back of the phone, which is this one. So let me rotate, select the phone, and I can rotate it along the X. I want to do the exact rotation, that's why. Sorry. Along the X. Okay, so I rotated in 180 in the opposite direction. this was the front view where the screen is, and this is the back side. So we are using this surface, so select this, then Shift S, then cursor to selected. Now I want to add Shift A and circle. Let's move circle up so we can see it. Okay, let's scale the circle down. Okay, I'll move it somewhere here. Maybe it's a little bit too big. I'll scale this down a little bit. I think this is appropriate size. Okay. Now you can go to Edit tab and extrude and scale. Okay. Extrude again along the Z. All right. Now let's select Alt left click this part and let's bevel this. You can go as far as you can, somewhere here. Alright, shade smooth. Okay, this is, let me go back. You can remove this outline in this section and check this one, and now it's removed. Another thing, select the edge parts and you can move this down so that there won't be overlap. Okay. Auto smooth. Okay, it's having a weird shape. Let me check what's this. Yeah, it's the earlier operation. Let me undo it. We can see here. Yeah, so it's there is a kind of bend, so I'll undo that. So instead, I'll just grab everything and I'll just move everything down. Alright, now it looks better. Okay, so the next thing to do is to prepare the place where the cameras will be placed. So I'm thinking of placing 2 cameras here. So let me modify this object first. Alright. So let's select this part. And we can move it along the G. Okay. This looks good. Alright, so this is like a casing for the cameras. So let's add now, let's model the lenses. So before that, let me prepare the groundwork. So to do that, go to the line mode. Let me select this edge part. Then press F to fill. I set, then somewhere here. And let me extrude this. Okay. Auto smooth. Okay. Alright, now it's ready. Select this and then Shift S, cursor to selected, A, mesh. Now we need some closer objects like UV sphere. Let me resize it. It's quite big for now. Still, we need to resize it. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle, so I will resize this along the Z. Maybe resize it a little bit. Okay. All right. I'll duplicate this one and then resize it. So I'm creating another lens within a lens to have some kind of simulate to look identical with real lens. They have this kind of effect. Alright, next thing we can do, select the edge parts and extrude and scale. Let's move it up. Okay, yeah. This doesn't need to cross this one because later on we are going to place a covering mirror on top, so this looks good. We can customize our own shape. You can do it the way you want. Let me extrude this again. Size. Just trying to create some kind of shape. Okay. Extrude again. Yeah. So it's done. One lens is done. Now we can duplicate this. And place the other one right around here. Okay. Let's shade smooth. Okay. Auto smooth. Alright. Looks like we are done with the modeling the camera. Everything is in place. Now we can texture these parts and then add some kind of covering glass on top. Also texture, add some materials for the phone and also for the screen also. So the modeling part is now done. So next time, in the second part, in the second tutorial, which will be following this video, we'll go through how we can assign materials for each part of the phone, for the casing, the cameras, and also for the screen. And we'll see how we can customize our own screen, whether in terms of if you want to add some picture on it or even a video. We'll go through it in our next video, in the part 2 of this video. So this is all about the modeling of the mobile phone. I hope you liked the video. So if you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe the channel, and I'll see you next time with a follow-up of this tutorial, which is the texturing part. Thank you for watching. Take care.